Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Kurt, and I might get a little ranty, so I apologize for that in advance. So, D&D 1 is putting out their, let's call it 6e, they're putting out their play tests for the martial character classes, eventually. And they haven't done it yet, but the Twitterati on Twitter have tweeted at each other that the word barbarian for the barbarian class is now offensive. I mean, it's been around for 30 plus years from first edition Unearthed Arcana as a character class, and people have been playing it just fine. But now, let's try to get ourselves some likes and some follows and some interaction and internet famous for a week. So, there's three ways WotC could do this. Okay? One is they could ignore this because it hasn't drummed up enough attention yet, and realize that maybe this is not an argument being made in good faith and it's not worth dealing with. That's the first thing they could do. Maybe it hasn't gotten their attention yet. Fine. The second thing they could do is do what they did with the race versus species hubbub that they did in their last playtest. We're going to replace the word race with species. And nobody seems to be happy that cares. There's some that don't care, and the rest are basically unhappy. So that's their option too. Change it and more drama floats up and they gain publicity off of drama, and there's no such thing as bad publicity even if you do something stupid. Whatever. Or maybe they could come up with something brilliant. Who knows? All things are possible. Okay. Third option is remove the barbarian class entirely. This is not something I see them doing, but they could. Because there's not much that the barbarian class does that couldn't be replicated in a different way from a different source. Now, if you ask people why they play barbarians, there's only a limited number of reasons. One is that they're big fans of Conan, the character, from the series of books and movies. If so, I would point them towards the Conan role-playing game, which is set in the world that the Conan character lived in and has all the trappings. I believe it's from Modiphius. I'll have to check, but I will provide a link down below. Another reason is that, well, I like the character class because it's so powerful in combat. Okay, you can like it for that reason, but that's not in itself a reason to keep the character class around. You could just say, I want to play the I win. Here's a button, I win, I win, I win. You know, that'd do the same thing. You got to have something more of a reason other than just, well, it's powerful. So let's say they like playing the outsider from the wilderness, you know, the primitive, low-tech, guy who's come into civilization, and there's that fish out of water kind of story behind it, the whole Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's court, flip around of, I'm not really from here and this is all weird to me and I'm adjusting. Okay, cool. We could do that with something else. Or maybe it's the, I want to play a berserking rage guy, Okay, there's another way to do it. And we don't need the barbarian class to do it. If you want to do the wilderness guy, that's a ranger. Or it's a ranger flavored differently. You could say, yes, I'm a ranger and I'm from this tribe that's had very little contact with metalworking peoples, That doesn't mean that they're any less brilliant, You could do land surveying with, the tripod and compass and the surveying equipment, or you could do it with a stick and a string, and you could measure it quite well. I mean, your technology isn't what makes you brilliant. It makes things handy, but anyway, let's say you want to do that. You do the ranger differently. You could, let's say you want to play this wilderness expert fighter. We make something called the Primal Scout. Say, port the scout character archetype from rogue over. Say you can only use these abilities when wearing light or no armor. And since that's kind of gimping a fighter by not letting him wear armor, throw in the ability to make uh, primitive weapons out of just materials you find in in the natural world. Like, I broke my spear, I lost the metal tip off the end of it. Fine, cool. You know how to find a proper, you know, piece of wood that'll make a good spear shaft. You know, carve it down, treat it, dry it, dry it, and you can do flint napping to make a stone tip, or antler carving to make a bone tip. You know, and there you go. This is based off of the old lizard man from second edition Humanoid Handbook, if memory serves. They had that special ability. I'm out of weapons. All I got's claws and, fists and biting people. But I can make things, I can weave together a net out of ropes and stuff. Well, not ropes, vines, you know. Cool, good for you. If you want to play a rage monster, we could just keep the fighter, port the berserker class over to the fighter with some adjustments, and there you go. We wouldn't really need the barbarian character class to make barbaric characters. Anyway, I think the whole thing is just a non-troversy, and I think it's just people trying to stir that pot. Stir, stir, stir. Pay attention to me. If you like my opinions, thanks. Please comment below. If you dislike my opinions, please let me know why, and I'll try to reasonably discuss the situation with you as to where we don't see eye to eye. But I appreciate all the likes, all the subscriptions, all that good stuff. Anyway, Game Kurt, out.